Greetings fellow Whovians and welcome to Timey Wimey Review. Today I review the recently released reconstructed animated version of the four-part adventure Galaxy 4, which was originally broadcast as part of the opening season 3 of classic Doctor Who back in September 1965. Just in case you don't know the plot, the Doctor, Stephen and Vicky have arrived on a barren planet, which is orbiting dangerously close to 3 suns. 2 other alien races are trapped on this world, the Darwins and the Rills. The Doctor and his companions are caught in their conflict and they must all find a way to escape this doomed planet. Now, this is the first time that I've actually listened or watched this 4-part adventure. I know the audios are out there, and I know in quite a lot of Doctor Who fans, there's not much love for this story. But for me, I felt there was a bit more of a changing of the guard of something that's, just glimpse of something that's coming up in terms of how Doctor Who is shaped for the new season. So, for example, Verity Lambert has got her names on the credits for this story, but actually it was John Wiles that commissioned the script and given the go-ahead to produce this story. And I'm wondering if they would just went for a more sort of light in tone adventure, nothing too overly too complicated, as you know they got this epic 12-part adventure of the Daleks' master plan coming up a little bit later in that season. So I'm wondering why, if they went for that kind of more lighter in tone approach as a soft season opener. I just felt that it's just a full-on sort of 60s vibes with that. It's sort of like, quite a lot of imagination and some definite excellent sound effects, which I'll get to later in this review. For our main cast performances, I'll start off with William Hartnell. It was a bit more sort of actiony, I thought, in this story. I don't know whether that's more the animation just taken a few sort of liberties. But to be fair, I did watch the black and white original version of episode 3 that still thankfully exists in its original glory. And yeah, I still think it was pretty much an action hero. He was sort of running around, being a bit more sort of active, really. Where if you sort of compare it to other stories, he's more into the sort of standing around, being, just being that aura of a figure. So it was sort of a bit of a refreshing change to see that. For Stephen, poor Peter Purvis, he was not very happy about this script. From the documentary that I watched, it was because that it still had Barbara and Ian penned in. So basically, they kind of merged all his lines together. So he basically was Ian and Barbara. So there wasn't really much of a character development for him in this story, which is a bit of a shame because when I last watched Stephen, Peter Purvis, it was in the Ark, and he did a really good performance in that episode, in those stories. But for me, out of the trio, I thought Vicky was the highlight, was the standout. Maureen O'Brien was brilliant in this story. I don't know if it's because she was sort of a similar height to the Chumblies, but yeah, I just I don't know why, I just liked her performance in this. I just, even in the animation, I just felt that her aura and her characterization of Vicky, it just shines through in this story. Now that I briefly mentioned them, let's talk about the Chumblies. I quite like the design of them. I thought that it's quite an innovative creation. A really good sort of designs, and I really like the sound effects for them. Again, when I mentioned about the sort of 60s vibes I got, it's mainly from the sound effects of the Chumblies. There were some really good sort of sounds, probably one of the best out of the Doctor Who sort of William Hartnell First Doctor era. I don't know why, but I just can't get the name Chumblies. I just, out of a name for anything, and everything needs a name, if you compare it to like Daleks, Cybermen, they just sound really iconic, and Doctor Who. Chumblies, I don't know, maybe because I'm just grown up in an era of Teletubbies or Tweenies. It kind of just gives me that kind of more kiddified sort of name, Doctor Who and the Chumblies. It just, yeah, it just doesn't sit well with me. I don't know what I would have called them. Let me know in the comments below. What would you call the Chumblies, or do you actually like that they were called the Chumblies? A true character highlight for me in this story is Steffi Bidmead as the Darwin's leader, Marga. I thought she was great in this story. Really enjoyed her performance. If anything, I'm glad that we've got the episode 3 still in its former glory, original broadcast, because it's definitely worth watching her and seeing all the different performances that she gives, the movements, the delivery of the lines. It's a real treat to watch. So as much as I enjoyed the animation, and I'll talk about that in just a second, I'm glad that there is still original footage out there, because she did give a great performance in this story. The animation is great. I can't fault it. I really enjoy seeing at least these animated reconstructions, just getting that, just giving that visual completion of the missing episodes that are still sadly out there. And I wouldn't say it's taking liberties as such. I call them kind of like nice special editions, because then they can sort of like, I think it's more quite faithful to the original broadcast. Obviously, they kind of done a bit more with the sets, mainly sort of in episode 3. You can sort of again compare the two, but I really like the animation and how it's presented in this animated form. The one thing that was a bit you can sadly not replicate is the facial expressions. Again, Steffi Bidmead's facial expressions were amazing and on point, which you do miss from the animated versions of this story. I did watch the black and white version for this one. I just, for me, heart on hearts, I still feel that 60s Doctor Who should always be in black and white. But it is good that you got the choice of both, because I imagine quite a lot of more fans, new fans that wanted to delve into classic Doctor Who, will probably would settle for the colour version, because they all know colour version all their life. So it's good that we get the option of both the colour and the black and white versions, both on DVD and on Blu-ray. I have to say, I will be re-watching Galaxy 4 in colour. Obviously, curiosity will get the better of me. I've seen clips of it in colour, and it does look fantastic. But like I said, for this one, I had to go for the black and white um, in my first viewing. It just gave, black and white 60s Doctor Who is just for me. But what I did like in the animation is, at the end of episode 4, we do get a tiny little clip of the next episode, which is Mission to the Unknown, which is the prologue to that 12-part epic Dalek Master Plan. So to see that was kind of like a great moment. And I do hope we do get Dalek's Master Plan very, very soon, hopefully later this year. Please make it happen, because I think that's what everyone's all sort of screaming out for, really. Dalek Master Plan. We were treated with Evil of the Daleks, but now we're hungry for Dalek's Master Plan. Well, at least I am, anyway. I'll just quickly mention the DVD presentation of Galaxy 4. I really like it. I like the menus and the special features on this. So there's a really good making of documentary for Galaxy 4. It's basically a bit of a reminiscing documentary, and I really liked it. Really enjoyed it. It's probably one of my favourites that I've seen in recent memory. And I don't know what the extras are on Blu-ray. I don't know if you get any other extras compared to the DVD copy. Again, let me know in the comments below. I'm going to give Galaxy 4 a TARDIS rating of 6.5 out of 10. I did enjoy it. It was entertaining. It's a very easy, watchable story, 4-part adventure. It's not overly groundbreaking in terms of the story. It's pretty much a two warring races, and it's kind of going for that don't judge a book by its cover type of vibe. But I did like the designs of the Chumblies, I did like the acting, and I also just liked the overall presentation. It's 60s Who, really good sound effects, a little bit over ambitious with the sets, but it does have a charm of its own. And for me, it just gives that glimpse of how Doctor Who as a series was going to start to evolve. If you compare it to the first two seasons, it started to go away from the more sort of historical sort of moments and going on to full on science fiction space adventure. So this is sort of like, for me, just kind of just really starting to push that envelope into more space adventures. It's not a Doctor Who classic, but it's certainly one to add to your collection, which you can do now on DVD and Blu-ray. And I love these animations. I'm thankful that they're being commissioned and produced and made, because at the end of the day, we all want a complete Doctor Who adventure, whether it's from the classic missing episode stories all the way through to the Big Finish audios. Who wouldn't want a definitive Doctor Who collection? Let me know in the comments below your thoughts to Galaxy 4. Did you enjoy this 4-part adventure? And I'm also very curious to know whether you watched this in colour or the black and white version first. Next time on Timey Wimey Review, it's the start of my review of Season 23 of classic Doctor Who, that 14-part epic, Trial of a Time Lord. Until then, thank you very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this review. Please like the video, share the video, and subscribe to the channel. And a big thanks again for everyone's support to help me reach 100 subscribers. But as the good doctor once said, as a matter of fact, I think we shall get some long-deserved, undisturbed peace for once.